Hmm. 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 Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Dawn of Yangchen chapter analysis video. This one is going to be for chapter 4, which is called Flight. So this is another very short chapter. It's only like 3 pages to the point, where I kind of like, why wasn't this just part of the end of the last chapter? I get to a certain degree wanting to end with the sort of like end of chapter sort of stinger of the person that Kavik is trying to rob from is Yangchen, but when the continuation is literally just like immediately afterwards, like you can sort of see like, yeah, you probably should have just attached that onto the end. So we basically just get Kavik trying to sort of escape here and how he chooses to do this. So the end of the last chapter was literally Yangchen screams. This chapter confirms that it's an airbending assisted scream, so it's super, super loud. Everyone in this place is going to hear this. So a pair of guards come in. One is a firebender, and then I think there's a waterbender one as well that comes in. And then there's another waterbender as well. There's a few people that come in as everyone rushes to the scene. But I think there's 2 people in the room with Yangchen and Kavik. So Kavik's kind of like, oh, what do I do here? So he just tries to take cover. And he actually takes cover behind Yangchen. So he gets right behind her back and is just hiding behind her as the guards come in. And they're like, swine, what are you doing? How dare you, stay that close to the Avatar? And it's an interesting one because it says here, through the side of his face, pressed to her back, he felt a shake. Was she laughing? Be careful, she said to her guards. He's a waterbender. So she's completely calm. She's not even trying to like attack Kavik or stop him or anything like that. She kind of just wants to see how this plays out. So she doesn't really have a problem in a way with Kavik, like hiding behind her or anything like that. Because she obviously doesn't view him as like, okay, the fact that he just handed the scroll back to me just before shows that like he's not out to try and hurt people necessarily. So I think she has a good judge of the situation. And he notes it here. That's right, he was a waterbender. And they were in a house of ice. One wrong move and he could send deadly shards hurtling into her flesh from all directions. If he were a total monster, but he's not. And so what he does is he just kind of like backs off. What does it say? He jostles the table and then basically just drops through the floor, waterbending style. But as we see, he's falling through the floor and then his foot gets caught. So someone has re-iced the floor, and so he's sort of stuck, trapped from the ceiling in the other area. And this is when the waterbenders, like in the floor below, arrive in. And we get this kind of cool sequence where Kavik sort of fights his way out of this situation, where like he realizes that they're both waterbenders. So what he does is he quickly freezes the ice in one of the waterbenders' ice pouch, so they're delayed in attacking him. He uses that delay to free his foot from the floor, and then he basically drops onto the other guard. And we see that one of the skills that Kavik has is that he is a wrestler. He notes that he's not the most amazing at the sort of push and pull standard style of waterbending, but he notes that he hasn't lost in wrestling in a long time. No one had beaten him at wrestling in years. Bending gave him more limbs to work with, and so, the idea is he's trying to knock people over, while holding on to them and using waterbending as like an extra sort of appendage to just take them out. There's a cool moment where a waterbender tries to use a water whip on him, but he like ices it to the floor, again locking someone in place once again. So that's his style of waterbending. And then this is when like he tries to kind of fully leave, but he's sort of like sucked back into the room. And this is when the guards sort of arrive and properly capture him. So Yangchen arrives on the scene at this point. She is the one who has done this to him using airbending, sucked him back into the room. Don't hurt the boy. Take him to the basement and make sure he's unharmed. I wish to speak to him in a few minutes. And Kavik is just wondering like, oh no, I've crossed the Avatar and now I've been captured. What is my punishment going to be like? And so you end this kind of moment of like, okay, Kavik's kind of resourceful, kind of nice, like solid waterbender, but not like an absolute powerhouse where he can fight his way out from like 4 or 5 guards. But interestingly, Yangchen doesn't seem overly fussed about the whole situation necessarily. She's like, she calls for guards in that someone is trying to steal from her, so she doesn't have the full information, but she seems to know enough that like we don't need to like beat him up or anything like that. We'll just kind of stop him, kind of question what's going on here, see what's happening. So an interesting setup for things overall. And you know, as I suppose as we're going to see, Yangchen is not just out to take people out or anything like that. She's kind of like, what's this boy up to? So she's going to be a little bit more reasonable about this, and I like that. Like the opening scene of him immediately using her for cover and her just letting him, very kind of funny. I'd love to see a piece of fan art of that, of just kind of him like right up on her back, avoiding some guards, and she just lets it happen. But yeah, there's nothing really too particular to talk about that one. It is just a direct continuation of the previous chapter. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this chapter, but that has been it. Thanks for watching, and bye.